Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here. I know it's a little early in the morning. It's 3:40 a.m., but I had a lot of stuff I was working on, and I was working till about midnight tonight. And then I was also working on a brand new project, which I'm going to talk to you guys about probably in my other show. I've been exploring LLM, large language modules, and exploring how ChatGPT actually works offline. And the resource it needs to work. And I built my first tonight, and that was kind of a lot of fun. And that kept me up a few hours playing around with it and just kind of understanding what the different language models can do. All right, guys, I want to thank you for being here, whether it's 3:40 in the morning, 3:40 in the afternoon, 12 a.m., 12 midnight, 6 a.m., 6 p.m., whatever it is. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate that. Our master topic for the week is how to live a life with passion. We're on series 3, show 10. And our master topic, well, that's for the week, but our granular topic for the day is the power of curiosity, travel, and spontaneity. So when we think about living a passionate life, one of the most important things we have to do is we have to make sure that we are open-minded and we are curious. It's like a playful curiousness. You know what I mean? So when we embrace that curiosity, we learn, we get a different perspective. Curiosity becomes our compass in life and allows us to chart through some very challenging waters as well as some calm waters. And it also opens up the doors to endless possibilities, endless possibilities. So being open-minded is something that a lot of people don't do because they feel that you know, they don't want to share something or they're afraid of an opinion. There are lots of reasons, right, that they decide that they don't want to do it. But it's key to be open-minded. And people say to me, "Hey, John, what does it mean to be open-minded?" Well, it's important to understand that when you hear something, you're open to new ideas, you're passionate about different beliefs, empathetic toward others' feelings. Okay. If you're not open minded, then you're closed. You're not wanting to hear things. Open minded people are curious to hear what others have to say. Um, they don't mind having their ideas challenged. They don't feel angry when they are wrong. And they have empathy for other people and they consider what other people are thinking. And they're humble. They want to hear what other people have to say, and they believe others have a right to share their beliefs. So that is really cool. The second point I want to talk about tonight is going to be travel. So when we think about passion, embark on travel. A journey of self-discovery through travel is quite amazing. Whether we explore places right here in our own state or our own country, or we're journeying abroad to some, very exotic locations and islands. When we immerse ourselves in different cultures, um, every adventure is like a new gateway to personal growth. People say to me, John, how does travel inspire us? Well, we get to see different things that we might have not seen before. We get to see how different parts of the world are living, right? That's one thing we could do. But I think as we think about this whole piece, it's like, where do things come from? Okay. I know that when you think about travel, the first thing you're probably saying yourself is, well, gee, I want relaxation. I want truth, right? I want to be able to take it easy. But for whatever reason, you wind up not doing that. So when you travel, it's important to disconnect from technology, even though when I go away, I always still produce content, but not as much of a rigorous schedule as when I'm around back. So I think it's important to understand that travel is key to our everyday life. Travel will breed success. Let me say that again. Travel will breed success. Just like enthusiasm breeds success. See, when we see different things. It could be different cultures. It could be different colors of water. We could see some different landscapes. Maybe we see some different architecture, right? These are things that can inspire us to be really great. And so it gets us to pull up our passion. Okay? It gets us to pull up our passion and passion that we've seen. And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's not something that you just do overnight, okay? It's something that you have to realize one thing, and that's the fact that, when we're open-minded, which we just talked about before, other people want to be around us. When we travel, we have a chance to decompress. We have a chance to get a different perspective. We have a chance to recharge our batteries, right? So when we come back, we're like in an amazing condition. So that's a really cool thing. The last point I want to talk to you guys about tonight, it is late, so I might not go too late tonight, is embrace spontaneity. Spontaneity. Spontaneity, when people say to me, John, what is spontaneity? Well, in short, it means that you're being spontaneous. Okay, well that's fine. So what does it mean to be spontaneous? You rise without any apparent thought. It just kind of just happens, like at the moment. It's just a spur. You rise from a natural inclination, an impulse, or a forethought, or a prompting. And spontaneous means that it's happening or being done in a natural or often a sudden way without any planning or thought. It just happens. It reminds me of a great person of our time, Neville Goddard, who I've studied for quite a while. And, he was talking about this thing about, don't climb the ladder. So you tell yourself not to climb the ladder, but then you just climb the ladder like without even thinking. So it's spontaneous. So you're not actually doing it. And I think the biggest thing I have to tell you today is understanding your passion comes from understanding who you are. We all show up here with a mission, but sometimes people don't figure out their mission or what they're doing. It's very confusing sometimes for people. Also, you might realize that maybe you're doing something a certain way and you're like, hey, John, how do I get more passion in life? So passion isn't something you buy on Amazon. It's not something you get at your local grocery store or your local home improvement store. Passion is something that naturally builds inside of you. Let's talk about something with passion. A lot of you are passionate about sports, right? And the reason they're passionate about them is because they get a feeling when they play. Maybe they get a feeling when they score. And that just re-emphasizes not only physically, but neurologically and chemically that, hey, I want to do that again. That's a great feeling. I just definitely want to do that again. So you do it again. And you do it again. And you do it again. And before you know it, it has become a habit, ladies and gentlemen. It has become a habit that really will propel you forward. So when we think about the last point, which is embrace spontaneity, break free from always having to be in a routine. Maybe, you're coming home and you always come home the same way. Well, maybe change it up. Take a different route home, right? Allow yourself to be part of the moment, but to be swept away by unexpected things and seize opportunities when they happen. So I'm going to give you guys an example without getting the details. So we were, as you know, we're in the process of, we moved and we're going to be moving again. Well, we had to get some of our stuff in storage, a lot of our stuff in storage, actually over 80, 90% of it. And so we were planning to move in a few months. And all of a sudden I get this letter from the moving company saying, due to unforeseen circumstances, we're not going to be in business anymore. And you have 30 days to get your stuff. I don't know about you, but when you move, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work. And you just don't want to keep doing it over and over and over again. You don't want to do it. And I think it can be interesting. Okay, it can be very interesting of, what's going on. And you can understand that probably, right? You can probably understand, what's happening. Why are people doing something a certain way? And I think when we start to learn that our lives can have passion in them, I think it can really change us. A lot of people don't think that we can have passion in our lives, but we really can, ladies and gentlemen. We can have passion in our lives every single day. Every single day, ladies and gentlemen, we can have passion. So if you're saying, John, I can't get passion, well, it's probably because you haven't really allowed yourself to adapt to the world. You haven't allowed yourself to figure things out, right? You haven't allowed that. And if you haven't allowed that, then how do you figure out where you're going? How do you know where you're going? I mean, I think that's a real, oxymoron, but you have to figure out where you're going. And if you don't figure out where you're going, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be lost. You're going to be lost. But how do you actually go from point A to point B? And I think the way you go from point A to point B is knowing where you're at. But it's not knowing what you see, it's knowing how you feel. Right? We only do things for two reasons: to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. This is why so many people are in the hospital. They are trying to avoid pain. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we have some people joining us now. Thank you. So we try all different times, but as I said to you guys before, we always put the shows out before I go to sleep. That is really, really important. So today was a long day, but it was a really good day because when I came back, I was working until about 12:15. I had a doctor's office I was doing some tech installs on, and I got home, and I had this thing to finish learning about large language models and how to set up my own chat GPT offline. And I did it. There were a few failed attempts because they didn't work, and I had to go back and play with it. So that took me a little time. So I probably didn't get my language model up till about, I don't know, maybe it was about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And when I got it working, I started realizing that I could play with a lot of other language models and start to understand how you can train ChatGPT, how you can train AI chat, and how when you put all your stuff in your system and how it learns about you, it doesn't share it with anyone else. So I think those are pretty cool things, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, they're really cool. But I think when someone's passionate about life, they do something not because they have to, but because they want to, because of that feeling. You know the song I'm talking about? There's a great song. It's been around for a while. It's called Hooked on a Feeling song. You probably know the song. I'm hooked on a feeling. It's been around for quite a long time. And so, hooked on a feeling is why we do things in life, right? It was a 1968. It was a pop song, originally performed by B.J. Thomas. It was written by Mark James. And, if we take a look at that song, there are some pretty amazing lyrics in there. I mean, go ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga ooga ooga. I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's all right. Right? And then the chorus is, I'm hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. So I think when we start to realize things like feelings, and when we know how to replay a feeling, it's almost like replaying a song, right? When we can replay a feeling, we keep doing it. Why? Because it feels good. If we do something that feels good, we're probably going to do it over and over again, right? Because we like that feeling. It's like a natural high. And so our body, after that happens, will start to make it a habit. And by creating good habits, it's like they work on autopilot. You don't have to think, you don't have to do anything, right? But, what does it mean to be passionate about your, let's say, your aspirations in life? What does that really mean? Well, it's feeling deeply enthusiastic. It's driven. You're committed. You want to achieve results from your dreams. You're passionate. It ignites a fire within you. Okay. And everything you do that is positive, it just kind of like kindles that fire more and more. What happens when you put a fire on a fireplace, and the fire is going out? What do? You stoke the fire, right? And you put more logs on, it starts to burn more. But you stoke it, and it gets a little from the bellow, and you get the air in there, and then suddenly, it's like you're on fire. I mean, that's an amazing thing. Being passionate about your life empowers you to live authentically, to live from your dreams, and to not be blocked. I think that's the biggest important thing. You can have whatever you want in life, as long as you don't harm or hurt another person. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been an amazing privilege, of course, a pleasure, and of course, an honor to be with you this fantastic evening. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that you will choose to like, love, and support all my great content out there, because I certainly do have a lot of content. I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow, right? Or actually later tonight. Be well.